It's time for To the Max Sports, where we talk about sports. They're just two guys, Max and Drew, in a bar talking all things sports. Well, without the bar. And the beer. Wait, why aren't we in the bar?
Hello, folks, and welcome to the Flying Whip-Up Production Studios. Off to my right here is Mike.
Yes, sir.
Mike's back in the hot seat. He was here a couple weeks ago.
How y'all doing?
Got brother Bob working the ones and twos, the controls over there.
Yep, we're talking Formula One tonight.
Formula One, and how about that women's Syracuse softball team? Are they on a roll or what? So, I kind of got, it's a train wreck deal, especially when you're a YouTube junkie like me that just goes through different venues. And probably about a year ago, I stumbled up on this slap fighting. And it's actually gotten bigger and bigger as times progress, to the point where now Arnold Schwarzenegger, y'all know Arnold, right? The Terminator.
I'll flick you into the baby pool.
The Terminator is actually sponsoring, I think he funds it, these slap fighting leagues now. And let me show you a little bit. This was, Bob, I think this was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm going to show the Arnold one first.
All righty. Ouch.
Ouch. Definitely this one's for you. The newest event for the Arnold Classic is the slap fighting competition.
That was pretty weak. That just pissed her off.
Favorite is now an actual event. Would you participate?
Good night.
Hold on a second.
Hey,
hold on a second.
Freeze the dude in the back.
Yeah, no.
Look at that dude's face.
No, hold on a second. Look at this guy before he even gets hit. It looks like he's unconscious before he gets hit.
Watch the dude behind him watching. Look at his reaction.
Did you participate, Jeff?
He's like,
no. Men and women took turns.
And Schwarzenegger's like,
yeah.
He liked it.
And then, I mean, though I will say this, this video shows if you're in a slap fighting championship, perhaps you need to make better life choices.
So this guy gets the ink slapped off of him. Yeah, you can't do that to a guy that big. I mean, you gotta, good night.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he knew he was out.
Did he knock him out?
Knocked the ink off.
Yeah,
of him.
he knocked him out.
Show the other one.
What's with that guy's
Oh,
eye?
which one? This?
Oh, the big Russian. He's my favorite.
He's got some weird eyeballs.
This guy's a legend, the big Russian. That dude right there.
Oh, he didn't even move.
Yeah, he's
Look at his hands.
The best slap fighter.
Well, first of all, so my question is this: is this what happens when you're in a bar and you've had 6 too many, and then it becomes a sport?
I could see this in an Irish pub, not so much an American pub, but a British Irish pub.
Ireland.
Ireland.
But yeah. So the culmination of this was the championships this past weekend from Hollywood.
Yeah, so let's. This guy has a career.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
He leaned into it, and Rock took it. So that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was nuts.
What'd you guys think of that?
Inappropriate.
I still wonder whether or not that was staged.
Okay.
That almost looks like a stunt slap.
Well, I would say that, but it was a pretty good slap, and I don't think he was expecting it. I think he came up there thinking he was going to banter with him or kind of give him a hard time, but he reached back, and that was a pretty good slap.
Will Smith played Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
He would put Rock on the floor.
Well, Rock got rocked.
What I don't understand is Chris Rock is obviously hosting the show, and his purpose is to make fun of people. So he made a couple of jokes, and maybe not the best ones, but you're going to punch someone or slap someone because they made fun of your wife? I mean, I know it's not nice, but come on, dude.
I would say my first thought was staged until I heard Will Smith sit down and start yelling profanities. And I was like,
Yeah,
"Nah."
twice. He actually
Yeah.
repeated it twice.
So I was like, yeah, this is real. But anyway.
Okay, so let's move on to real sports.
Okay. So, I predicted that before they lost their last game to Villanova, I did say Houston would be the upsetter in the Sweet 16, and they were with their win. And then, of course, they ran into Villanova, correct?
Correct.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Now, Villanova guy's out, their main star player.
Yep, torn Achilles.
Yeah. So that's not an injury you can just, it's not like an ACL or a meniscus. I mean, an Achilles is a pretty serious injury. What's kind of sad for that guy is hopefully it won't affect his career. It obviously could, because to come back from that, it's tough.
Yeah, and I mean, in Villanova, basically, it's 6 guys.
Yeah.
It's 6 guys. If you look at the playing time and the points per game of 7 through all the way at the end of the bench, it's like a couple 3 minutes a game, a couple 2 points amongst them all. So now they're down to 5 guys.
So they're going to get run out of the gym. Do we all agree on that?
Well, I know that the guy that was injured is actually their second leading scorer. And the guy that's going to take his spot's a senior, and he's played very well this year. But I don't know about getting run out of the gym. I think Jay Wright's a great coach. I think they're going to be tenacious. Maybe 5-7 minutes left in the game, they'll pull away. But I wouldn't count them out. But yeah, I think Kansas wins the game. Definitely.
Yeah, I could actually see it being more, not as bad, but a St. Petersburg situation, which going into that game, I was all over North Carolina to cover, and I had the under because St. Petersburg just didn't have the depth to run with North Carolina for 40 minutes. And I don't think Villanova will either with Kansas.
Well, I mean, St. Peter's, to be fair, their 3 games previous to that, they kept those games close, and in essence, they got a little lucky at the end. That game with North Carolina was done in the first 4 minutes. As soon as North Carolina jumped out to that 9-0 run to start the game, it was done. St. Peter's needed to be close to the end, and they weren't. Could they have been? Yes, they weren't. North Carolina did the job. They did what they needed to do.
And they also had a 27-9 lead, and that's when I said, "Yeah, this is over."
Yeah. Well, there was just too much to overcome. I mean, to be a 15 seed, and I just heard that the coach for St. Petersburg has just been hired to go to his
Seton Hall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
His salary. So I love the stories about St. Peter's, about their program and their
St. Peter's.
Yeah, you're saying
Berg.
St. Petersburg. It's St. Peter's.
Yeah, Jersey
St.
City.
Peter's.
It's a Jersey City Jesuit school. He is the only paid coach on that staff. He makes a measly $260,000 a year. They actually, when they've had teams in, they've actually broken rims. It's a shoestring budget.
Yeah. What's in inner city New York? But, good for him. Obviously, he's going to get a huge pay raise, and maybe he can restore Seton Hall to their former glory.
Because he's an alum from Seton Hall.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, Seton Hall was always one of those.
Well, I mean, back in the day, it was the Big East.
Yeah.
I mean, the Big East was,
that was basketball.
if not the best, it was one of the top 2 conferences in basketball.
And they won a championship, I want to say 28 years ago, Seton Hall.
They did, I believe so.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
I remember because my brother picked them to win it all, and they
Who was
did.
their long-term coach? Wasn't Carlissimo for a while?
Wasn't Carlissimo St. John's?
He's St. John's, yeah.
Yeah, I get them all mixed up.
Raleigh,
Massimino, or no, that's Villanova, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Villanova.
I'm throwing out these old.
No,
names.
you're right. PJ Carlissimo, Seton Hall.
Okay. I knew I wasn't losing my mind.
They lost to Michigan in 1989.
So a clock's right at least twice a day.
Well, unless it's a 24-hour clock, and then it's just once.
But so going back to, obviously, Villanova is going to be understaffed. I don't think they have the horses to keep up for 40 minutes. It may be close, like you said, for a while, but at the end, I'm going to go ahead and take Kansas. If I had a gun to my head, I don't know what the line is, but I'd probably take the points too.
Can we look it up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right
I'm
now.
going to say.
I'm gonna take I'm gonna give the points. Yeah.
I'm going to say it's 8.5.
You're gonna take the points or give?
No,
them?
I'm going to give the points.
Yeah, I think 8.5's a lot.
I think it's probably.
I just have so much respect for Jay Wright.
But the thing about Kansas is everyone expected them to lay an egg like they always do.
Yeah.
And this year they didn't.
The only one seed left.
But they did have a pretty easy route to get to where they got, I thought.
Hold on a second.
I think Duke beating Michigan State and then Texas Tech. I think that's been an impressive run for the Dukies.
Well, it has been. So, let's talk about that game. I've kind of been on the North Carolina bandwagon for a while now. I'll tell you what, they can put up some numbers. They can put up some NBA numbers, 95, 100 points a game.
Yeah, they're explosive.
When they get hot. Their offense is very explosive.
Villanova favored by 4.5, over under at 133. Kansas is minus 200, Villanova plus 170.
It's a game I'd probably stay away from because Kansas will hurt you. They'll screw you the minute you bet them. So that'll probably be a game I'll be a spectator on.
Wait a minute. You're saying it's only 4.5?
That's the line.
Wow. I'm giving 4.5. I'm going to put some money on that puppy. I'm giving the 4.5.
Well, sometimes we call that a sucker bet.
It could be,
but Vegas always does something.
Well, they know exactly what they're doing, but I don't want to analyze it too much. I used to gamble, not anymore, but I'm just going to put the 1,000 down. I'll put 1,000 on Kansas.
Market.
Tell you what, give me 1,000. I'll give you $500 back.
Why would I'm losing 500?
Because you're going to lose 1,000.
I'll tell you what, how about we go deli sandwich downstairs?
Okay.
Okay. For a deli sandwich.
And if you haven't had the deli sandwich downstairs, you got to try it.
I want to try that pizza downstairs. So the next game,
but they charge you for ice.
So I will say this, this observation floored me, and it's like floored every analyst over the last couple days. This is the first time Duke and North Carolina are meeting in the NCAA basketball tournament.
That shocked me.
First time ever.
Bizarre.
And this Final Four is insane. 16 championships among them. Villanova at the rear with only 3. Years of coaching experience in the Final Four with a coach who hasn't completed his first year. It's like 82 years of coaching experience. This is insane. When we came into this tournament, we were all about, this is going to be chaos. It's anybody's tournament to win. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be utter craziness. And we end up with the bluest, bloodiest Final Four we have ever seen.
But what made it a great tournament season is we did have those amazing upsets. We did have the wacky, wonky kind of stuff at the end. Like you said, somehow, some way, the cream rose to the top.
Well, Mike actually a couple of days ago actually kind of hit on something. Look at the coaches here. I mean, Hubert notwithstanding, who's still, he has a little bit of a pedigree, but he's still new. But look at the other 3.
Yeah,
these are 3 of the top 10 coaches of all time.
Yeah, that's what's going to make it really, really exciting.
I still think it. And I totally agree, obviously, with the 4 teams remaining being blue, but 3 number 1s got eliminated. Baylor got eliminated early. St. Pete's had an incredible run, first 15 seed to get to the Elite 8 ever. And Miami had a great run. And that coach, he's like 74 years old.
Yeah,
and he's the youngest coach in the conference.
And Houston had a great run.
And Houston Cougars, they're always competitive. Sampson's very underrated as a coach.
So what made it a lot of fun is you had like we said, you had your upsets, but at the end of the day, the cream of the crop in the college ranks seemed to have come together in a perfect storm. So, going back to the Duke contest, Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Who do you think?
I'm going with Duke.
Okay.
And I want North Carolina to win, but I'm going with Duke.
I think for the storyline, Duke.
Okay. Well, I'll bet you guys a slice of pizza downstairs. I'm going to go with North Carolina because I hate Duke.
I don't like Duke either, but I have so much respect for Coach K.
I hate Tom Brady too, but.
Yeah. Well, great for Coach K. He took a team, and this isn't his best Duke team by far.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
So it may be his best coaching. His best coaching that he's had in years.
So somebody actually said this the other day I was listening, that perhaps North Carolina's biggest mistake was to beat Duke at Duke.
Well, you're saying that, but we'll see what happens. I want to quote the someone on the radio today or yesterday about Ian O'Connor, the guy that wrote the book with Coach K, how the host asked the author, "Are you surprised that Duke got this far?" He said, "Yes." And then the guy says, "Do you think Coach K is surprised they got this far?" And he said, "Yes, I think he is." His body language, his facial expressions. He thought his team was a little young, and he was so impressed with they beat Michigan State, and then they beat Texas Tech. I think they're on a mission. I want the Tar Heels, but I think the Dukies are on a mission.
Well, we kind of talked about it before the show. Actually, the game they played this year kind of was a turning point for both teams. It was a turning point for North Carolina. They said, "Hey, we
can do this. We belong. We can do this." Yeah.
And then Duke was like, "This is our wake up call." They could have fallen apart or come together. And ever since that game, it seems like they've come together as a team and said, "You know what?
Could it be possible, because we always talk about this in sports, turning points, et cetera, could it be possible that both teams were propelled and inspired by
in different ways? Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
That was my point.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's totally possible. Obviously, it happened.
So you guys have Duke. I have North Carolina.
And then we all have Kansas on the other side.
Do you guys have it to be in a close game? Any predicted score?
I think it
has to be close.
I think that North Carolina's going to have like 32 lead changes.
I think North Carolina wins on a buzzer.
Oh. Hey, the sentimental favorite.
I got a sound pad too, and I can turn yours off.
I don't know how to turn that thing off.
The sentimental favorite, unless you're a Tar Heel fan or a Kansas fan, you gotta be pulling for Coach K. Unless you're just a bad person, you gotta be pulling for Coach K.
Well, I mean, it's the story. It's the storyline.
I'm a bad
It's the storyline.
Here's what's going to annoy the shit out of me. Okay?
I'm a bad person.
I'm a bad person. I just don't want to sit through a championship game and I got to deal with these announcers just gushing for 40 minutes over Coach K.
They're going to be gushing.
Yeah.
They're going to be gushing.
Just let them gush tomorrow or whenever they play and let North Carolina beat them and let's move on. Okay.
Okay. So
I don't want to hear 2 games of Coach K, how great he is.
Well, then perhaps you're watching slap fighting this weekend.
So
maybe.
do you dislike Coach K as much as Bob dislikes Tom Brady?
I'm not saying he annoys me for some reason.
He
looks like a rodent.
He cusses like a sailor.
Yeah.
Well, he's a West Point grad.
The Navy cusses more than the Army, I think. Hence the name Cusses Like a Sailor.
I read some interesting things about that biography they wrote. He was organizing and coaching games when he was like in the 6th grade. He was trying to put together.
And he was also mentored by Bobby Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so okay. So we're split a little bit on the Duke UNC game. We're agreeing on the KU over Villanova.
Yeah.
So national champion?
Well, I'm going to over under in that game. Now that may be sometime I do. I'm going to say it's 148. Do you know what the over under is?
I don't, but the Google will tell me.
He's looking at that. So the national championship game, you guys have Duke.
Oh yeah, gotta be
Kansas.
Duke. Yeah, gotta be Duke.
And you think Duke wins it all?
I think the winner of the North Carolina Duke game beats Kansas, not easily, but they'll pull away with 8-9 minutes left and slap them around. I think North Carolina is spectacular too.
Over under for North Carolina Duke 151 on the money line. Blue Devils minus 190, Tar Heels plus 160. The line is 4. Duke
minus 4.
I'll take the North Carolina plus 4.
I actually think it'll be a buzzer beater game kind of at the end.
I totally agree. Yeah.
I think it'll go over. I could see a score of like 87, 84.
Ooh, Blue Devils are 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 NCAA tournament games.
I'm not a big fan of the Blue Devils covering the spread, but I am a fan of the game going over because I think it will be a close game.
Yes.
So he's got the Dukies winning the entire thing.
Dukes to win, Carolina to cover.
Okay, and Krzyzewski and they beat Kansas.
I think it's the championships game is going to be totally
So they
anticlimactic.
walk out, Coach K on everyone's shoulders.
Totally anticlimactic. That second
waving.
game. Yeah, the championship game is the Duke North Carolina game.
Brother Bob,
Jerry Seinfeld is in the audience cheering on Duke. It's the story. We lost to Cinderella. Now we have this.
so you have
I'll take Duke over KU.
okay. You know, ever the contrarian I am, I'm going to have North Carolina against Kansas. And I'm going to go with Kansas,
Wow.
the team nobody wants.
Okay, Toto.
Kansas,
Bill
baby.
Self's a great coach. It's a
and he
great
deserves
program. It's a great program.
How many championships have they won? Has he
At
ever
least
won one?
2, I think, right?
So you got 2 under his
I
belt?
want to say 2. He's played
Kansas or
Kansas.
So-
He's played in a lot of.
So here's what I
tournament
like
games.
about his team. All the hype, there's no pressure on Kansas. Okay, they will get by Villanova. And then if it is Krzyzewski's team, you know, all the attention's going to be on that. It's going to be a lot of pressure for these kids, for the Duke kids to withstand the pressure of sending their coach home a national champion. And they got to do that for 2 games. It's going to be tough. It's gonna be a lot of
I
pressure.
totally agree, but here's what I see when I watch them play. They don't look afraid. And like they say, sometimes you're too young and naive to be afraid. Like these kids, I agree with you. There's got to be some pressure, but the way they play together. And I don't know if the fact that obviously his retirement is inspiring these kids, but there's something magical about the way these kids play. And that kid, I don't even know what his name is, number 5.
Yeah.
They're saying he's going to be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft.
Well, here's the key to me.
I feel dumb not knowing his name.
In that North Carolina game, if say they go down 25 to 15 early, how will they respond if they're down 10,
Duke?
12 points? Yeah.
That's a good point because that's where the pressure will come in.
That's where they'll start feeling the pressure. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say Kansas 5 NCAA championships
5.
for the school.
Bill Self, 2.
1.
Only 1.
They only had 1.
And he's
2008.
I don't want to say choked, but they've been knocked out of the number 1 seed
Yeah.
so many times.
Hey, the NCAA tournament is the greatest one and done. Crazy crap happens every year. And despite some people saying these are the 4 best teams in college basketball, by definition, they're not. These are not the 4 best teams. These are the 4 teams still standing.
Right.
And I would say the 4 teams that were playing the best to get here.
Yeah, obviously.
Maybe.
Fair enough. What do you mean maybe? These are the best teams that are playing the best, and that's why they're
Some
here.
had easier routes, I believe. than others.
Kansas had a very, very weak bracket.
Kansas had a weak
Do
bracket.
we know who they beat? Can we look that up?
But I do believe in that bracket, you know, they did what they had to do, and they're still a blue blood club, and they got some amazing players.
They beat Texas Southern 83-56. They beat Creighton 79-72.
Creighton's legit.
They beat Providence 66-61.
Providence is legit.
And then they beat Miami 76-50.
And Miami's having a great run. So that's pretty legit. I thought the Dukies beating Texas Tech and what's the other team?
Yeah.
Michigan State. That's impressive.
Oh, come on. I mean, yeah, in the West Regional, you have Michigan State, you have Texas Tech, you have Arkansas.
Arkansas.
That was
Arkansas
a stout.
Tough.
That was a stout bracket.
I'll
was
tell you
a
what,
great
anyone
game.
that can beat that Texas Tech defense, they were just a phenomenal defense. Okay, so we have them. We got 2 blue
Dookie.
Dukies, 2 Dukies. And I'm not going to make any Dookie tonight. I'm going with Kansas, okay?
Oh, fair enough.
So we'll splice that tape so I can brag on myself next week.
Well, we'll see.
So, guys, we got the Masters coming up. And,
Yeah, we do.
They're saying Tiger may. What are thoughts on Tiger?
I don't think Tiger's going to play this year's Masters. I think he's really trying to get a litmus test on 2023. It's not so much this year,
He
it's
did a practice
2023.
round.
He had a practice round. He had nine holes, but 9 holes is not 72.
That's grueling.
Why is he not playing?
Well, because
He almost lost his leg and
almost lost his
died a year
life.
ago.
Oh.
I think he's played a couple charity things.
Yeah, he played with Charlie
Yeah.
in that tournament.
So my feeling is, get your feet wet under something that's not so grand a stage. It's a grueling event. And what I'd hate for him to do is go out there and say, in his mind, say, I can go do this. I can go play Augusta on the weekend and be competitive. And then he blows up and shoots an 89 or 90 and embarrasses himself.
Doesn't make the cut.
Doesn't make the cut. So I would say get a couple of tournaments under your belt. Like you said, see what your conditioning's like. And then, yeah, make a run at it next year.
Yeah, and this may also be a test for him for St. Andrews. I mean, we're playing the British Open at St. Andrews this year.
Yeah.
Very, very flat course.
Right.
So not a lot of grueling up and down. This may be a litmus test for St. Andrews.
I agree. See how, have him getting a couple tournaments prior to that.
What month is the St. Andrews?
It's
July?
whatever month it is, it's usually freezing ass cold there.
Well, it's
And
freezing
rainy.
ass cold all the time there. And it's July 14th through the July 17th.
I just hope all those replacement parts in his leg don't get stiff out there.
Wow, are we boring you there, man?
I'm just sorry. I got woke up.
We're sorry, man. We just
Woke up at 02.
So yeah, so I don't think he plays. I don't think he takes the tee in the first round. I think he pulls out the night before,
Yeah,
or
he-
even the morning of.
Yeah. Oh, so he's talked about maybe playing.
He hasn't pulled out yet.
Oh, you know what then? I see, because I'm getting confused, and I'm sorry I don't know all the stuff, but if he hasn't pulled out yet, he's playing.
No.
That's my prediction, yeah. Why is he?
No,
This
no,
next
no,
weekend,
no.
right? Or is it this weekend?
No.
for Tiger pulling out hadn't been a problem. It's putting it in.
When?
Oh, there we go.
Da. When is the tournament? It's this weekend?
No.
The following weekend.
Somebody's laughing
Yeah.
out there.
I got another deli sandwich that he plays in this tournament.
No, he's not going to play.
Yes, he is. What if he's not playing? Why hasn't he pulled out yet?
No, but that's the thing.
I don't think he'll play.
He didn't pull out to a couple days before the tournament last year.
There's a couple things about an
So
athlete
he's being
and
told
actors.
not to pull out.
A few things you got to understand. He's not going to play, but what are we doing? We're talking about him.
There you go.
And that's all what they
That's
want.
why
That's what they want.
It's
It's a conversation piece.
it's
now
staged.
his ego may get the best of him. It is Tiger Woods, and he may have a couple good practice rounds and say, you know what, I think I can do this. But I think he'll go out there on that stage. I just hate to see him, blow up, shoot a 92, and just
No,
make-
he won't. He knows himself so well, and this is not the Tiger of 20 years ago.
Right.
This is a different Tiger, much more happy in his headspace. I think much more happy with life.
And people
He has
like
nothing
him.
to prove.
I noticed people are starting to, he's kind of reinvented himself, and you don't hear that much Tiger bashing like you used to.
The young players idolize him.
Yeah.
So he's kind of reinvented himself,
Well,
and good for him.
who else is reinventing himself on double secret probation? Phil Mickelson, not playing the Masters.
Right.
Already said he's not playing.
But before we go, may I just add one thing about Tiger and you saying he doesn't have anything to prove? I don't know, super people with super high achieving goals in life, they're always proving themselves. Tom Brady is a perfect example. That guy's always looking for something to prove. And so that's what makes those people
Well, that's
so
why he
great.
cheats.
Well, okay, that's fine. But these guys always are trying to prove something. Always. In my opinion.
Yeah.
But-
Always.
And that's why there's that little sliver of ego that tells me maybe he will try to play in this. But
We'll
in
see.
sport, I don't think he will.
I don't think he is. I think he's going to pull out the night of, or the night before, or possibly the morning of. He's not taking the first tee.
Now, what were you saying?
Oh, I was talking about double secret probation and Phil Mickelson.
Oh, Phil Mickelson. I mean, who knows what's going on with Phil? I will say this. Maybe he doesn't want the attention drawn to himself. And so maybe the PGA did a Michael Jordan NBA thing where, why don't you just go away for a little while, play baseball,
or
and then
possibly said or told Phil, we're looking at discipline for you for your comments about the PGA. And Phil said, how about if I just don't play for a year? And they went, okay.
I don't think it'll be a year, but that's a possibility, because the PGA wants good publicity, not bad publicity. And the whole thing's kind of died down. But I think it would have been a distraction if he would have played in this event. So maybe he's just taking a time out. If he's smart, maybe he comes out, say he's pulled a hammy, some kind of injury, and he's going to sit this one out.
Well, no, he's already told, he said he's not playing.
Who's
Okay.
that? Phil?
Phil Mickelson.
Phil doesn't have a choice. The Masters told him.
No,
You're not invited.
No, the Masters did not tell him.
That's what I read.
No,
Clearly.
No.
Fake
Phil
news.
Mickelson said he's not playing.
Yeah, fake news.
Can I look at my phone now, or is that improper?
Well,
You
I read
can look at your phone.
I
but-
looked at several articles, and they're told him you're not allowed. We don't want you this year. Sorry.
that's not true.
Okay, maybe I know what I read, but
Speaking of character issues,
I'll look
Jerry
it up.
Jones is, he's fighting that paternity suit, and he's telling, his daughter saying, it's terrible that you're saying I'm slandering you and extortion, because she claims I'm your baby, I'm your daughter.
what's going on?
Jerry Jones paternity lawsuit.
And he's the daddy of who?
The woman who filed the paternity lawsuit.
And obviously we
Where
have.
did you get this guy?
And obviously we know that there's scientific.
He had a nice cardboard sign. It was "Will commentate for food." So
Okay, let me read this. The Palm Beach Post 1 week ago. Augusta national officials do not want Phil Mickelson playing in the Masters.
Okay, that's
speculation
that's
and
speculation.
opinion.
Sports Illustrated. Phil Mickelson removed from list of competitors for 22 Masters.
Yeah, was removed. He decided not to compete.
See, what they do is they word it in a way to get you all riled up. But no one.
It's not riling me up. I'm just after the truth.
If a PGA spokesman came out and said, read a presser that said, or the PGA commissioner or whoever it is, read a presser, but I think they just told him, hey, sit it out, let this thing blow over, and he probably was like, okay, yeah, let's let it blow over, and it will.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, even with this kerfuffle with the PGA, the Masters doesn't kowtow to the PGA.
Yeah.
The Masters basically tells the PGA, this is our championship. You do not mess with us.
Yeah.
So what the PGA is doing with Phil has nothing to do with the Masters. So actually, I think this is a Phil going, okay, I'm going to take a backseat. I'm going to take a sabbatical.
Yeah.
Let all this die down.
Yeah.
Which will include the Masters.
Is
So
it
you don't agree
possible?
to it?
Is it possible to be discreet? And golf is very discreet. That they said we don't want you playing in this tournament, but we're going to let you tell the public that you don't want to.
That's possible, but the Masters doesn't care.
Yeah.
The Masters doesn't care. They do not care about their sponsors because they've gone through boycotts before and they haven't lost anything. They went through the whole kerfuffle about women. They went through the whole kerfuffle about African Americans. The Masters doesn't care because they're still going to make their money.
I just want to duly noted that after 30 minutes into the show, we got our first, second, and third kerfuffle.
Yeah,
There we go.
Who uses the word
I'm
kerfuffle?
going to start the over-under
He used
on the
it-
word kerfuffle.
He used it 3 times already?
Yeah.
I'm apparently creating a bit of a kerfuffle.
So I'm going to set the odds at our next show that it'll be after the 20-minute mark before we get our first kerfuffle.
Okay, let's talk about NFL. NFL.
It's March.
New overtime rules for
that's-
the postseason.
Okay.
So let's wrap this up
We got
in
5 minutes
overtime.
for that, I guess.
We got a few minutes. So I'm on board with it. I do think it's going to drag these games out another 30 freaking minutes. So I don't know how the NFL is going to, there are time slots.
Well, remember, this does not affect regular season. We still have the same regular season overtime rules. 10 minutes. If you score a touchdown on the first possession, you win. If you score a field goal, the
So
other
that
team gets to
has not
possess.
changed.
Regular season has not changed.
Okay.
This is just for the postseason.
Okay.
And first team scores a touchdown, other team gets to possess. If the other team scores a touchdown, then it becomes sudden death.
And what game do you think caused that?
Oh, there's been more than a few.
The Buffalo, Kansas
The
City
Buffalo,
game?
Kansas City
You
game.
think?
Well, the NFL has evolved their overtime rules because years ago, remember, it was kick a field goal on your first possession and
Right.
you win. And then they changed it because they said this is not fair. It's not, it doesn't meet competitive fairness. So that's the reason why they said, okay, got to score a touchdown and then you win, or the other team gets to possess. They're just evolving.
It's
But-
taken them 10 years to evolve. What's taking so long?
Well,
It's taking them this long to get
It's
finally to make sense.
It's not an issue until it's an issue.
Right.
And notwithstanding those that want college football rinky-dink overtime rules, I think this is a good compromise.
I think it's a good compromise. I'm glad they're not doing it in the regular season, but being postseason, I do think it's very unfair that it potentially is decided with a coin flip. Now, to the flip side, you could say, well, it's overtime because you didn't get to where you needed to be.
That's
during the
always my
game.
point.
So, don't bitch about the fact that you lost the coin flip.
Wait a minute. So we're going to penalize someone on 100% luck.
No. We're going to penalize you because you let it go to overtime.
So it's your fault that you ended up in a tie.
Well,
And because your team ended up in a tie, we're going to punish you with something inequitable. Makes no sense.
well, they're taking steps to fix it now.
They're taking steps to fix it,
So-
and I think this is a
So,
good
Mike, you'll be able to sleep tonight.
equitable solution for professionals.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it not being in the regular season, but I didn't see a lot of that Buffalo game. I saw the ending, but yeah, if I was a Buffalo fan, I'd be furious.
Well, I mean, the problem for that game was, and I think that game was, you point out, that was the game that tipped their hand,
Yeah.
because if Buffalo wins that coin toss, they go down the field and score a touchdown because both of those defenses were gassed.
It was a Sunday afternoon sandlot game.
Yeah.
Where both teams are scoring at will.
So
each team gets the ball one time.
Well, we can't solve all the sports problems tonight, but we worked on it. Guys, we want to thank you for tuning in. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps our platform, our product. And we will see you next week.
Yep, Lewis Hamilton, we still love you. Just hang in there, dude.
Yep. OH.
And we're out.